Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Off the Dome Sports Podcast, your favorite sports podcast where 2 and sometimes 3 sports lovers sit and give their hot takes
off the dome.
I am Redfish.
I am Mustang.
I am Clown Car.
And we are the OTD boys coming at you live tonight on YouTube and Twitch. Thankful to the boys at The Know for always keeping you in the know. Thankful for this beautiful Saints flag we now have hanging up.
Love it.
Got Joey B back behind us again.
Love it.
Head is still cut off, but y'all know what Joe Burrow looks like. But yeah, very glad to be back on OTD tonight. See my boy Steven Jackson, my boy Miami Marlin Derek Jeter.
No doubt. No doubt. You know, I wasn't expecting you to tell them that this was a Derek Jeter jersey, but you went and did it, man.
Who bought you the jersey?
That was you.
That was me.
That was all you, my man.
Listen, that's why I'm here.
How we doing, boys? How was your week?
It was really good, actually. You know,
Hey,
Love are really good.
let's go.
love a rainy night, Eddie Rabbit. Over the weekend, I had a gig. It went well. I had a lot of fun. Me and my bandmates got to really interact with the crowd. We played at Fat Cat's Saloon in Prairieville. Always a good crowd there. Always a fun show. And you know, we had a little fantasy draft for our Dynasty League.
Yeah,
right,
we did.
Right.
That went well. You know, had a few faces we hadn't seen in a while, like Kevin and Doug.
Kevin and Doug. They are known as Kevin and Doug.
Kevin and Doug. And then, you know, we played poker till 4 a.m.
Yeah, don't remind me. I was tired. Went to
God,
church the next morning.
You guys played for that long after
Yeah,
I
we
left? Wow.
We played 3 games with that crew.
Wow.
Yeah.
If y'all were wondering, Bryce scammed me out of $10, and then I left. I was sick.
And then we played 3 games. I played on everybody else's money. Played 1 on his money. Played 1 on his money. Played 1 on Rebo Hustle's money.
Yeah.
Didn't win any of them, so I didn't lose any money.
Yeah. You know, Rebo Hustle won the first game. Jenny
Won a game. And then
and then
some would say
Mustang.
Mustang did pull out the win in the
You
final
didn't win
game.
after that?
Mm-mm.
Call it karma.
Call it karma indeed.
Call it what you
Call
will.
it karma.
Call it
was
what you
a fun
want.
night.
How?
However, the next day we were very tired.
Yeah. Especially the guy who woke up at 9 a.m. the next morning.
How was your week, Redfish?
Oh, you know, back at work. So it was interesting, to say the least. Back at LSU. Glad to be back.
Right.
Got to see some faces I hadn't seen all summer. So was glad to see them. Dynasty draft went really well, in my opinion. I thought I had a fantastic draft. Was really excited with some of the players I got. If y'all want, we can talk about, you know, what we did in that once we get, you know, through this little segment. But I think I did really well. And then we had a draft last night in a league that I don't know anybody in. What? Why is my mom
You're
shamed?
being shamed.
She said shame
Shout
on
out-
you, Bryce.
Mama Red.
Oh, shame.
Shout out Mama Redfish for shaming me in the chat. I guess it's because I suck at poker. But hey, I won at least once. But no, I think our draft we had last night, I don't know anybody other than you in the league, and
Right.
it paid off for me. I think I had a fantastic draft.
Hey, I think I had
Listen,
a good draft too.
I
I had
love
a
your
triple
draft.
running back stack of, you know, I had Mixon, I had guys like, I had Jacobs, I had Eckler. So it was a crazy draft. I had all 3 of those guys.
Oh, okay.
What's up?
We're gonna get right into the free agency news that we were gonna talk about. Dalvin
Okay.
Cook has officially signed a deal with the New York Jets.
There you go.
Predicted.
1 year, $8.6 million. So Dalvin Cook is a New York Jet. He is going to be teaming up with Breece Hall in that backfield.
Wow.
I mean, we were going to wait a little bit to talk about this, but we kind of have to now that it just went live.
That is an incredible signing for these Jets. But can I say something real quick?
Say what you want to say.
To all of the people, I'm not talking to you at home. I'm talking to the people in our fantasy football league, our NFC, AFC East fantasy football league. No, it's a no-go on Dalvin Cook. You can't pick up Dalvin Cook.
He's already been picked
He's
up.
already been picked up.
By who?
Forsyth.
Lionel.
I'm taking him off his team. I'm taking Zeke because he went to the Patriots. I'm taking him off of Rebo's team, and I'm taking
signed
Dalvin.
him.
Oh, you signed him?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks for you, dude.
Why
That
Wait,
sucks.
why do they have to be? Why can't they sign him?
Because we drafted already, man.
Yeah,
I feel
but-
like it's not fair.
That's why I asked you this before we started. I said, what about the free agent that signed with him? You said they're free game on waivers.
I don't know if that's exactly what I said. But let's talk. Let's get away from fantasy football, okay? Let's talk about what this means for the Jets and what it means for the NFL.
So, first comment, we already know Rebo Hustle is a big Jets fan this year.
Yeah.
He has gone on the record, not on this pod, but I'll put it on this pod so we can go back and listen to it later. Rebo Hustle has said he thinks the New York Jets will win the Super Bowl this year. Not just contenders, not just going to win the division, but he believes that the New York Jets have the potential and will win the Super Bowl this year. So them adding Dalvin Cook, I know in Rebo Hustle's mind, it only glorifies what he thought.
It sounds like a Rebo Hustle take for
Yeah.
sure.
It does.
Let me give
Shout out
my-
to the Vikings.
I'll give my take on it first. Do I think the Jets can win the Super Bowl? Yes.
You need me on the record?
On the record.
They will win. The New York Jets are going to win the Super Bowl.
All right.
Thank you,
That's on
Rebo
the
Hustle.
record.
Thank you to the Axolotl shirt. Don't know why he doesn't just stay in here, but who knows? People with wives, am
So
I right?
anyway, do I think they can win the Super Bowl? Yes. Do I think they will? No. And the reason being is the same reason that the Eagles lost the last Super Bowl and the Bengals lost the Super Bowl before that. You
Aaron
need,
Rodgers.
You need time to build chemistry between these players and the other players and the coaches. There has been a lot of moves for the Jets that, it's going to take a season or two to build on them. And, just like the Eagles, Jalen Hurts coming in, the receivers coming in, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, they're all new on the team. They didn't have that chemistry. And I feel like if they did, they would have won the Super Bowl. Now, they were really close. Bengals, same thing. The Rams, yeah, you brought in Matt Stafford. He was new, but everybody else remained the same, right? That's why they were so successful, not 5-12.
5-12 Rams, he says.
But, adding Dalvin Cook for the Jets is a huge plus. Now they get that two-headed monster of Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, who I think will complement each other very well. I see him splitting snaps 50-50. Maybe by the end of the season, Dalvin might go 60-40 or Breece Hall might go 60-40. It could go either way, honestly. They're very talented. Breece Hall is just younger. He's got a lot of proving to do. But all in all, I do think they'll be a playoff team, even though it is a tough division. I could see them getting in a wild card spot.
I think
I think the AFC East might have 2 wild cards.
maybe. I think the Jets have swiftly put them into the number one category of running back rooms in the NFL because they have a running back room full of guys who can make a huge difference on any team. So I think that for Dalvin Cook, he's still going to be the lead back, but his production in terms of maybe a fantasy perspective, in terms of maybe a career high or whatever he's chasing perspective, that's going to back off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because in Minnesota, he was the one. He was their workhorse. I mean, they use Madison, but not nearly as much as some of these other teams use their twos. I think the Jets in the offense that they have running over there, especially with Aaron Rodgers, who is used to a 2 running back system like that, I think Breece is going to get a lot more touches than Dalvin Cook might be accustomed to. I think even who else do they got? They have Zonovan Knight. I don't think he'll see the field.
They have Michael Carter.
Michael Carter.
And
That's
they
their
also
3.
they also drafted a running back in, I believe, the 4th round in Israel Abanikata out of Pittsburgh.
So yeah, they have a huge running back room. So I think this is going to be a big difference maker for the Jets. But if you bring it back, if Dalvin Cook's stats might come back for the sake of the Jets being a better team.
Yeah, I think it's a great pickup for sure. I mean, you can't deny that it's a good pickup, no matter what way you look at it. I think it's great for Breece Hall. A lot of people probably won't have that take, but I think this is a great move for Breece Hall because he's injured. I mean, he got hurt last year. People are questioning his status for week 1 already. Is he going to be 100%? If he's not 100%, do they throw him out there? Does he play and play hurt? But this takes a lot of that pressure off of him, and it also gives him somebody to learn from. Dalvin Cook is a veteran in this league. He's been around 5, 6, 7 years. So he's got some years under his belt. He's been very successful in this league. The only question mark is now they have 2 running backs who are known not to be healthy.
Right.
Brees Hall got hurt last year. Dalvin Cook has really never played a full season healthily. He's always had something going on. Even if he plays, he's not always 100%. He had stuff with his shoulder last year. He's had ribs before. Known for pulling a hammy. So, health is still a concern. But when you have 2 guys who, are very, very dynamic players, both of them can do anything you want out of a running back. Brees Hall, I would say, is a better pure runner, while Dalvin Cook offers that receiving upside. So I think they complement each other well. We could be looking at another 2017 Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram combo here.
Yeah.
Where both running backs are just extremely successful and shine in their own part of the game. My question is by week 11, week 12, if both running backs are healthy, who's really taking the lead? Is it Dalvin Cook, who has that receiving upside? Is it Brees Hall, who we know can run the ball on the ground? It could be very similar to Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon in Green Bay, which I'm sure Aaron Rodgers would love. But it also could be an instance where one guy just takes the lead and never lets it go. So I'm really interested to see how they balance them. But either way, just having the option to have Dalvin Cook on your team is a huge upside for a New York team that's looking to not only, win the division, but like Rebo said, they do have some potential to make a run at this thing.
What do we think is like a realistic projection for these Jets now? I feel like we're teetering on the edge of double-digit wins.
I think,
and I know there are some people who think they're going to win like 13 games. I think that's not going to happen. That's kind of outlandish. But I think double-digit wins, especially with a guy like Dalvin Cook and all they did was get better. So I think that they can easily get at least 10 wins.
Yeah, before this happened, I would consider them already on the verge of double-digit wins. I kind of think this propels them to a 10 or 11-win season.
Right.
I think for me, them playing in what I would say is a top 2 hardest division in football in the AFC East. Yeah. You could even argue that it is the toughest division in football when you have the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets all there, and then you still have the Patriots, who by no means are a scrub of a team.
Right.
They'll fight every week. So you have 4 teams out there who are always going to give you a run for your money. But that being said, I think the Jets are a safe 10-win team. I think between 9 and 11 is honestly the perfect number. I could see going either way, but 10 or 11 is probably where I would sit too, just like Mustang just said. It is hard for that division. I think they probably go 500 in the division, but out of division, they'll probably win quite a few games with the offensive firepower and a defense last year that, although a lot of people overlooked, was pretty much a top 5 unit in any metric.
Yeah, you could tell me every team in that division goes 1-1 against each team.
Yeah.
Within the division, and
absolutely.
I'd believe you instantly.
It's super interesting to me that us 3 are all like, and even Rebo Hustle, who thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. It's super interesting to me that we all are like, oh yeah, easily a double digit win team. Like the Jets got better; they were okay last year. But I know people personally, like several people, Uncle Bug, who
shout out Uncle Bug.
My Uncle Bug, he's like, oh yeah, they won't win double-digit games. And I'm sitting here like 4-time MVP, Aaron Rodgers just joined their team, and you think they're going to get worse? How's that possible?
You look at the weapons that they have, just on offense, and we've seen bad defenses win Super Bowls. The Chiefs have never had a great defense, and they've been on a run for 5 years.
Right.
But when you have a really good quarterback, you have receivers who play within the system well.
Sophomore year Garrett
Wilson is going to
be scary.
Garrett Wilson won Rookie of the Year, didn't he? Am I right?
Yeah,
he won Rookie of the Year.
Jets had 2
you pick up Alan Lazard, who has beautiful chemistry with Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to love throwing him the ball. You have Dalvin Cook and Brees Hall out of the backfield.
You have that old reliable Tyler Conklin.
Oh, this guy loves the conch. But yeah, if you look at the offense, I don't see how you look at that unit and be like, double digits isn't in the cards. I could see you saying, you know what, 9 games.
Right.
8 games if somebody gets hurt.
9 games was my original projection for the Jets.
I think Dalvin Cook brings them up at least a game. Because if you get into an overtime situation, this is actually a weird callback, but when we went to the Giants game a couple years ago, Saints versus Giants in the Dome, Saquon Barkley was the reason that the Saints lost that game in overtime because he took a wheel route 87 yards to the house. Dalvin Cook is a guy who can do that. So
I
when you
think both of those running backs, can
yeah,
do that.
so when
They
you
both
add a guy
shown
when you add a guy
hybrid
like
back.
that, when you add a running back like that, that really brings that that dynamic duo to your backfield. That's the difference maker in tough games when you need 2 or 3 yards or you need to make a big play in the open space.
You mentioned Saquon's, wheel route to the end zone against the Saints to beat the Saints. But the Saints did not lose recently, my friends. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs with a game-winning field goal from Bryce's baby daddy.
Blake Groupie.
We were cool until you said that. You were cutting a crazy promo, 5 out of 5 skill, and then you tanked it.
I don't know. I was feeling pretty good about it.
No, but go if you don't follow our Twitter or you don't interact with our Twitter, go make sure to like and comment and retweet about my Blake Groupie post. I took a picture with Blake Groupie when we went to training camp, and he ended up hitting that game-winning field goal as time expired yesterday. Saints game in general, though. Let's just give some thoughts on that. What do you think,
First, I
Mustang?
wanna,
Oh,
Rebo's popping off.
yeah. Instead of talking to us in person, he decides to comment. Cool.
Yeah. See, I disagree. I don't think Buffalo has a questionable O-line. They've been a very, very good O-line for the past few seasons.
Did they lose
I
anybody?
don't think so.
I will fact
I
check.
think they, extended Mitch Morse, their center, and that was the only one. Miami, yeah, they've had
They definitely have questions on the O line. I'll give them that.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad per se, but it's average or slightly below average.
Who's to say that Buffalo's O-line problems even matter? I mean, Josh Allen in the backfield of an NFL roster is like the great Kali at quarterback. It's not like he's Bryce Young looking like a little
thought he was
middle
about to say
schooler.
me.
He looks like the great Kali back there.
He is a pretty big human.
Yeah, I'm looking for their O line here.
The last 4 games of the year says otherwise about the Bills' O-line. My bad. What a huge sample size you're taking off of, right? That's a massive sample size, right? 4 games of a 6-month-long season. Great job, Rebo. You've cracked the case.
Oh my god, the beef. They need to start a program.
That's just I'm
They need
sorry,
to start
man.
a
That's
program.
just a horrible take. The last 4 games.
So it looks like they retained other starters from last year, and then brought in Connor McGovern to play left
Yeah,
guard.
that's what it was. I remember they.
So no, they did extend Mitch Morse. So you're right about that. They have the same O line as last year. Pick up Connor McGovern coming from the Jets, and then drafted Osiris Torrance in the second round, who's the guard out of Florida.
Yeah.
So I mean, chemistry is good for an O line. I think we see that year in and year out because you have to learn a lot of things about your other O linemen to perform well.
You're at war.
So I think they can take a step forward, even if they did have issues, like Rebo said. I mean, he's not wrong. In the playoffs, they did struggle. But I think chemistry is going to help them out. Having really talented players is going to help them out, and having depth. So
Can Kincaid block it all?
he doesn't need to. He's Travis Kelce. So,
Fair enough.
I mean, he's going to have 950 yards and 11 touchdowns this year. So
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I think you just read off Sam Laporta's stat line by
Oh,
accident.
no. Sam Laporta is going to have 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns.
Oh
That's
my god.
Come on. Dalton Kincaid might be good, but Sam Laporta is great.
Okay. Tight ends. You know what team has a lot of tight ends? The Saints.
We do.
Let's
Go
get
back
back
to
on the
the-
Saints.
That preseason game. What a showing. The second half kind of, showed some flaws, but it was at that time it was all third string, and it was kind of just like these guys are out here to prove themselves. Didn't really see anything too flashy, but the first half was very entertaining.
Yeah.
17 unanswered points. Our touchdown scores in Keith Kirkwood and my boy A.T. Perry.
Your favorite Saints player.
I mean, Derek Carr looked good. Jameis looked good.
Derek Carr
Jameis
looked perfect.
Really good.
Jameis looked great. Derek Carr looked perfect. I mean, 6 for 8, 70 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. The biggest problem with Derek Carr, is that there wasn't big enough sample size in this game.
No, yeah,
He
absolutely.
got one drive. I
But
like
you
to
don't-
see him connect with MT. I like to see him connect with Juwan Johnson. I like
Yep.
to see him find those guys. So I was really happy with how he performed in that
Yeah.
first drive.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, Jake Haener did not look good.
No.
No, we didn't. He did not look great at all.
Threw a very bad pass. Tried to force one in on the sideline to a back shoulder. Got picked off.
Yeah.
Then kind of just went. I don't want to say he went downhill from there because, he played pretty well for the rest of the game, but it wasn't like a huge incline. It was kind of just a steady.
It's not what you
stage.
want to see,
Right.
but it could have been a lot worse. So
Right. Our defense played great. First half defense, that is.
Right.
Played
Yeah.
outstanding. I love the way our D-line looked. I love the way our secondary looked. Even our second string was clamping.
yeah, I mean, your other favorite Saint, Alante Taylor, had that one big play he let up.
Yeah, and
He
almost
closed.
got it too.
He had the closing speed to get there, but he let it up in the first place. So you got to put the blame on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the very next play, let's go a touchdown on a miscommunication with Bradley Roby. So you're like, man, don't love that for him. And then next drive comes out there, tips the ball to force a pick. So that's kind of what you get out of Alante Taylor. Although he's going to mess up, he's going to give you really good plays too. So I know that's just one player I was thinking about. For me, the most impressive part was the starters. I mean,
Yeah.
because we played our starters the first drive. It was ones on ones. Chiefs did the same thing, ones on ones. And we stopped them after one first down. We scored 7 points. So when you can bring, I mean, I know it's preseason. I don't want to overreact, but when you go against the Super Bowl champions, one-on-one for 2 drives, and you win both drives, it's a really good sign for your team, especially what you're doing in training camp now that's going to show later on in the season.
Yeah.
Another person that popped in my head was Jimmy Graham. He was getting 2s reps. A lot of people were expecting to see Foster Moreau in there. He didn't play, which don't know why. Probably just saving some energy. You'll probably play next couple preseason games, whatever.
Yeah.
We do have 4 tight ends to get reps.
Yeah, I mean, you
5
had
if you count Taysom.
you had Juwan running with the 1s, Jimmy ran with the 2s. Lucas Kroll was in there at one point. Taysom, I don't even know. I didn't see Taysom on the field at all because I didn't get to watch the full game because I was very tired. But yeah, I'm sure Foster will get snaps in game 2 and 3. Easily could have just been sitting him to make sure he's back up to game speed after missing, a month due to overcoming cancer. Which shout out to Foster for that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he'll get snaps, and he's not going to be one of the guys who you just release without giving him a shot.
Right.
That's my most interesting point about the tight ends is there's no way we start the season with 4 of them in my opinion. So who's going to be the odd guy out? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Juwan, I feel like Juwan has locked himself into the one spot in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see the battle between Foster and Jimmy to see who's going to.
I think all 3 of them will make it.
Mhm.
Well, I consider Taysom a tight end.
I just do not, especially this year, because I don't think Taysom is going to get nearly as many reps as he once did.
Yeah, I think he'll only come in
Special teams.
special
Yeah.
packages, special teams. He'll probably do all the kickoffs.
And he has his worth there.
Definitely.
I love him as a
Definitely.
player there. I'm so sick and
the
tired
gadget plays.
of these gadgets, these go-go gadgets. Shoot a spring out of my arm. Flea flicker to Taysom Hill. I'm going to toss it. Oh, it's either picked or it's a touchdown. I'm sick of it. So, I, for one, am really hoping he gets less reps and nothing personal to Taysom Hill. He seems like a super nice guy.
Yeah, I mean they've already said he's a great guy to have in the locker room.
I mean, he
But
went
in
to BYU.
terms of getting any reps at quarterback,
He's not getting a single one.
it's
No.
we have a quarterback now.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have happened under Jameis, because we should have trusted Jameis to sit there and make those plays. But we didn't do that. So now it's our turn to trust Derek Carr to lead us to where we need to be. We don't need to be taking him out of the quarterback position ever. Ever. And I'm so serious.
This is the best quarterback we've had since Drew.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't start doing crazy stuff to try to win games. Like,
Right.
you signed Derek Carr to a substantial contract to get him reps at quarterback and try to win a Super Bowl. Like, you don't sign Derek Carr if you're not trying to win games.
Yeah, don't be goofy. Go play your game.
Exactly. I'm with you, my man. I'm with you.
And this is why I think this season is a huge question mark for Dennis Allen. He's on the hot seat.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
If he can't win
Right.
with this team, I think it's time to move on.
I mean,
And-
it will be.
Yeah,
It
it's
will
not
be.
even win a Super Bowl. It's make the playoffs.
Make the playoffs.
If Dennis Allen cannot make the playoffs with this team, we have to find our next coach. I saw something the other day, and it was like ranking all the head coaches or something, and they ranked Dennis Allen pretty low, and I was like, I get it from outside perspective. It hurts as a Saints fan. And their reasoning behind it is he feels temporary. And it's very true.
Yeah.
Because when you go from having Sean Payton for 15 years and you knew every year going in, Sean Payton's here until he doesn't want to be here anymore. That's what happened. Sean Payton left because he didn't want to be here anymore. And now you bring in Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen doesn't feel like they got their next franchise coach. He's going to be here for a long time. That's not what he feels like. It feels like we're sliding in Dennis Allen. We're going to win some games. We'll see what we can do. And then when we find somebody we like better, we're going to go ahead and get them in. And they have a few teams around the league who look like that right now too. So it's not like we're biased Saints fans who think that for some reason. It's kind of the way the NFL goes. You bring in a guy who can last you for a few seasons, change the culture, get you where you need to be, and then you bring in somebody who can win it all for you.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've been thinking the Cowboys were going to let go of Mike McCarthy for the past
I don't know.
handful
He
of
shouldn't be
seasons.
there.
Hey, Jerry likes him. What can I say?
Jerry likes a lot of not great things, like the Razorbacks.
He likes the Razorback.
He was a Razorback. You didn't. Jerry Jones played for the Arkansas football team back in the
What
day.
was he, like a linebacker?
I have no idea what position he played. He wasn't very good, obviously.
I mean, he became an owner. He's a billionaire. I mean, I can't argue with him.
Yeah, fair enough.
He did his
Um,
job.
He has a lot more money than I do.
Last thought on the Saints game. It's just good to see a W. It's
Oh,
good
yeah.
to watch football, and it's good to watch your favorite team win. I know it's preseason. I know Blake Groupie, a 5'7", number 19 kicker, just made a game-winning field goal. But it's still good to see your favorite team go out there in your home stadium and win a football game. Even if people call it meaningless, it means something to me.
That's profound.
So who do y'all think is going to have a standout season on
The Bears.
On
Oh,
the Saints.
on the Saints. Okay. You know, I don't know anything really about these preseason guys, but I really, truthfully am expecting a huge
I'm getting there,
season out of Derek Carr. I mean, this is a guy we signed to come and be the guy. He's been trying to prove himself in Vegas/Oakland for years now, but they refuse to get him a defense that'll work with him. They went and got him Devontae Adams, but the defense still sucked.
Facts.
He comes to New Orleans. New Orleans is looking for a quarterback because they have the talent, and they have the talent on defense. They have Alante Taylor. They have Cam Jordan.
What?
I can't think of enough. Demario Davis.
What?
Marshawn Lattimore.
Marshawn
What?
Lattimore. They have all of those guys. They're going to be a top 10 defense in the NFL. And when you pair that with Derek Carr, with a healthy Michael Thomas, with a healthy Chris Olave,
What?
with a healthy 4 tight end room,
What?
with Kamara coming back after 3 games,
What?
with Jamal Williams, who led all running backs in touchdowns last year,
What?
17.
we're looking at a quarterback who is gonna have a great season, and my expectations for him are through the roof. So that's the
I
guy
love
I'm
the
looking at.
passion.
I'm
I
looking
love
at
the passion.
Derek Carr.
Speaking about 17,
A.T. Perry.
A.T. Perry.
A.T. Perry.
So he's the guy I think is going to have a really good season. I'm not going to say he's going to surpass Michael Thomas if he's healthy or surpass Chris Olave. I do think he'll eventually step into that number 3 role. He's got the speed.
Well,
He's got the athleticism.
Rashid Shaheed is hurt right now too, so that definitely helps.
Opens up a spot
just
for him.
to
But
point that out.
so I think he's going to have a breakout season. He's going to, get some recognition. I hope he stays with the Saints for as long as time ends, but he'll probably move on eventually. But going off of what Dustin has said in our comments, we have actually talked about Paul, his first 2 Caesars being Keith Kirkwood and A.T. Perry.
Hey, he's drafting all Saints players this year, and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry and Saints players. That's it. I do love A.T. Perry. I think he's gonna be great. I have no problem with A.T. Perry. when we drafted him. I was like, oh, look, Marcus Colson's back. I'm very excited for what he can do. My player's a little bit less in the limelight. Pete Werner.
Hey,
I'm
dog.
really excited for Pete Werner because if you look at the Saints defense, we signed 2 D tackles in Callan Saunders and Nathan Shepard, who are currently our starters. We have Malcolm Roach as a returner, who is playing our depth piece. We have edge rushers that I think are going to perform very well in Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson. We have, Peyton Turner, who didn't get to prove himself in his rookie year, so he's looking to bounce back. Isaiah Foskey's going to have a huge year as a rookie, in my opinion. We have our secondary, which we know is loaded with talent in safeties and corners. So you come down to the linebacker position, and in my opinion, it's probably the weakest on our defense. And the difference between us having a top 10 unit and a top 5 unit is Pete Werner, in my opinion. I don't question Demario Davis. I think both in the locker room and on the field, he's one of the best players in the league. Our secondary is going to perform well as long as they stay healthy. Defensive line is going to be great. If Pete Werner, who we already saw take a step forward last year, if he takes another step forward and can solidify himself as one of the better off-ball linebackers in the league, I really like the chances of this defense holding us down.
Yeah, if he steps up again, he already did last season. If he does it again, he was leading the league in tackles.
Yeah, sit there and imagine we have 2 linebackers over 100 tackles each who both have the ability to stop the run, drop back in coverage, and rush the passer because both of them can do all 3 of those things. I would say DeMario's probably a better coverage linebacker than Pete Werner because Demario Davis is one of the best coverage linebackers in the league.
He's also been in the league a lot longer. He's got that.
Yeah, and he's a fantastic leader as well.
Yeah. Rebo in the chat says he feels betrayed not mentioning Brissy. Also signing of Jalen Smith.
He
knows how I feel about Brian Brzee.
we did note that they did sign Jalen Smith. I think it's a great addition because you lose Caden Ellis, who also played. He stepped up big last season, filled in. I think Jalen Smith can fill in his spot, even though him and DeMario are both kind of at the end of their career. And that's what I was saying about Pete Werner. If he steps up again, I really like where this team's going for the years to come. If he can take over the helm, be the captain on the defense behind whoever we have still. Lattimore probably still be around.
Yeah, we signed Jordan to that extension. After 2025, he pretty much said, I'm done.
Yeah.
I just want to beat up my dad. He went 14. I want to go 15.
But then we have the two young guys, like Risha said, Brissy and Foskey. They could potentially become a leader on that team.
Yep.
And I'd be more than happy with that. So I like the way our team's looking, not just currently, but for the future.
Absolutely. I think one last thing about Jalen Smith before I move on from the linebacker core, I guess. This opens up that opportunity to stop playing so much nickel defense. I think we played so much nickel defense last year because Zach Bond, as much as I love Zach Bond, I am a huge Zach Bond guy, was a huge Zach Bond guy when he came out of college. He is not an every down linebacker in the NFL. He's just not. So last year when we have Pete Werner and Demario Davis, you don't have that third linebacker who you think can play in that 4-3 set on third down when you need to stop or you need to rush the passer and still have some linebackers you can drop back in coverage. Zach Bond didn't bring that. Jalen Smith is very fast and can play coverage. So once you drop into that 4-3 set and you need that linebacker to step up and you don't want to play nickel anymore because, it's just not working for you or they're playing big and you need to stack 8 in the box, go ahead and throw all 3 of our linebackers in there and watch what happens. So
do it again.
I really like the addition of Jalen Smith. So thank you, Rebo. Got anything more on our beautiful New Orleans Saints?
Truthfully, I think we've covered it. I think when it's all said and done, it's preseason, so nothing's set in stone. But like he said, it's super nice to feel a win, and an exciting win at that, a game-winning field goal. I mean, that's football, guys. It's super exciting.
There was going into the season, a lot of people had doubts about the Saints, like a lot of the analysts had a lot of doubts about the Saints, but now, getting past training camp, getting into the preseason, a lot of them have changed their thoughts, even some calling them a dark horse Super Bowl contender this season.
Hello.
Hello, indeed. Yeah, don't be
Especially in
surprised.
The current state of the NFC.
Yeah, don't be
Yeah.
surprised when the NFC Championship is the New Orleans Saints versus the Detroit Lions. That's all I'm saying.
Or the Chicago Bears.
Uh-huh. Now we're talking. Now we're talking
Talk about
the
your Bears. Talk your talk.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the Bears?
Go ahead. I know you want to.
Okay. Let's talk about a little guy. He's played a little bit in Carolina. I don't know if you've heard of him. Little wideout named DJ Moore.
Hello.
DJ Moore is a consistent top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. Anyone disagree with that?
Top 20.
Okay, consistent top 20 wide
right,
receiver
we're good.
in the NFL.
I think he'd be higher. He could be even top 10 consistent if he was in better circumstances.
Without a doubt. Now look where he is. He's playing for the Bears. Justin Fields is the most athletic quarterback in
Future
the
MVP.
NFL. Future MVP. If he improves his passing game any slight margin, Justin Fields to DJ Moore will become a household connection. Everybody's going to know those guys. Now let's go to the defense. Tremaine Edmonds, huh? How's that for you? Go Bears. Yannick Ngakoue, how's that for you? Go Bears. The Bears are set up with an easy schedule. Justin Fields with a top 20 wide receiver. 2 more additions onto that defense. They won 3 games last year. Here comes double digits. At least 10 games for these Bears. They will be on the winning side. And they asked me to talk about the Bears, and I'm talking about the Bears. That's how I feel about Justin Fields. That's how I feel about the crew that they're running over there. But I digress.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears, they lose Dave Montgomery, but Khalil Herbert's been stepping up. He stepped up towards the end of last season. He's back. He's better. He's going to take over that one spot. And I think he'll have some success this season, especially with, the division getting weaker. Packers weaker by a huge margin. Vikings defense is going to take a step back without Anthony Barr. I think their offense will take a step forward. Lions, I also think both sides of that team are going to take a huge step forward.
Lions are going to be good. No doubt about that.
Can we get a dub, Bears? Even Bears fans don't like this team.
Well, I'm a Bears fan. I wasn't before, and I guess now I am. I'm a Bears fan, and I like this team. They're going to compete. They might not be the best team in the league. I didn't say that. I'm just saying that they will compete.
Can I talk about the Bears now?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want you to, man. You're so mean to the Bears for no reason.
I'm not
all.
mean
he's
to
a
the
Lions
Bears.
fan.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
he's a
No,
Lions
I'm
fan.
not mean to the Bears. I'm
That's why.
realistic about the Bears. Do you remember the bet we had last season?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember you had to shave your head because I was right?
Uh-huh.
See, that's how I am with the Bears.
Did that team have DJ Moore?
No,
Did that team have
Do you
Yannick
think-
Ngakoue?
I don't think.
Did
I
that
don't.
team have Tremaine Edmonds?
I don't think the additions make them 7 games better.
I think they
7
do.
games is a lot in the NFL.
Bryce,
They could have played 2 more
Bryce.
seasons and still not won 7 games.
Equanimous St. Brown. Does that not convince you?
All right, I'm in.
They also upgraded the O-line.
No hat equals hotter Bears takes.
My-
Good
the-
point,
The
Rebo.
Bears aren't. That's not a hot take.
It is a hot
The
take.
Bears are going to be good.
I
Oh
think,
my God.
in my opinion, the Bears max out at 9 wins.
Dude,
Max
that's
out.
one game off of what I said.
Right. No, that's you said no doubt double-digit wins. Me saying max out at 9 and you saying no doubt double-digit is very different.
Okay, I'm talking
Realistically,
I'm talking hyperbole. What I mean is that they're going to be good.
my realistic expectations for the Bears this year is to win 6 games. That's double what they did last year, so you can't complain.
You look at the Bears roster,
Yeah,
and you don't think they're a 7-win team.
I think they're a 6-win team.
7 was the line we talked about last year.
Yeah,
Can we put a bet on it?
and they
again?
they got 3. All right, what's the bet?
Same bet.
Same bet.
Shaved head. I will shave my head if the Bears get less than 7 wins.
7's the push.
7's the push. Yeah. So
7's the
7
push.
wins, nothing
7's the
happened.
push. 8 and above.
If
I
they
shave
get-
my head. 6 and below.
If they
You shave
get
your head.
more than 7 wins, your hair's gone.
Live.
I don't think the Bears get 8 wins.
Somebody
I don't.
clip it.
I don't think the Bears get 8 wins.
They get at least
okay.
7.
Okay, but then it's a push. Nobody shaves their head. What?
I'm
No, okay, so here's my take. I think DJ Moore is a very talented player. I'm not lying. DJ Moore is going to win them a game at some point this season. He alone will win them a game. Justin Fields is a top 2 running quarterback in the NFL, if not
Who's
number 1.
one?
It's between him and Lamar. Just because we've seen Lamar do it for longer.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So Justin Fields is a top 2 athletic running quarterback in the league. But my problem is you look at Justin Fields' box score, and you're like, holy crap, he's him. 3 for 3, 140 yards, and two touchdowns. None of the passes went more than 3 yards through the air. That's not sustainable, in my opinion. He's going to have to find times throughout the season where he has to put it on a dime, 30 yards down the field, connect on the sideline, push the team up the field. Defenses are eventually going to figure out the Bears' offense if they're just doing dink and dunk. And I don't think Justin Fields has the arm talent to get it done, in my opinion.
Okay.
Which is not... It's just because he hasn't shown it to me yet.
Get ready.
That's where I'm... If Justin Fields... If
He's
Justin
gonna
Fields
show you.
completed 65% of passes last year and was making deep ball passes and intermediate passes on the sideline in between the numbers, I'm cool with it. He just hasn't shown me anything more than running and dink and dunk. So I don't...
Chicago Dink-a-Dunk.
Yeah, I don't dink a dunk. Yes, I ditka dunk.
Dink-a-Dunk.
I don't trust Justin Fields. I think if you switch out the quarterbacks, I feel better about the Bears teams. I just don't trust Justin Fields yet. If he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. Listen, I'm all for it. But this Bears team, I just don't see making double-digit wins. They just don't have it. They don't.
Well, it's set
Okay.
in stone now. It's going to be clipped. It'll be posted.
Okay.
We will
All right.
remember this.
We
day.
will remember this come January. This clip will resurface after one of us shaves our head.
Come late December when the Bears and the Saints are in the
in an NFC championship. And somehow they made the wild card. They won the division with only 7 wins, and they still win the Super Bowl. What would we do there if they win the division with 7 wins, but they do win the Super Bowl? How crazy would that be?
That would be the biggest I told you so.
But I still
Of
wouldn't
my
have
life.
to shave my head.
That's true. You wouldn't have to.
I wouldn't have to shave my head, but he'd still be right. Win-win scenario.
Okay, Bears to the Super Bowl. I'm
No,
down.
didn't say that.
That is literally what you just said.
You're kind of right. All right. Anyway, last couple NFL points before we let him, talk about his baseball that we know he loves so much. We do want to talk about some free agents. Just because we already talked about Dalvin Cook, another running back signed today as well to your New England Patriots. Ezekiel Elliott earned a contract in New England, going back to the 1.5 that he wore at Ohio State, sitting behind Ramondre Stevenson. What's your thoughts on Ezekiel Elliott?
I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, he's 100% not the starting back. I mean, I think anywhere he goes, he was going to be a backup. So, I mean, I don't think it can hurt the Patriots. I mean, we had some young guys that were going to be competing for the job of backup running back, so that kind of hurts a little bit. But, Zeke is he's a veteran runner. I mean, he knows what he's doing. So
I mean, he's a good guy to have in your pocket.
right. So
Especially if you're the Patriots, you got a young running back.
Can Zeke fit in somebody's pocket?
No, he's got a gut.
I was about to say he might be Mike McCarthy's pocket, but that's about it.
But he's a good guy to have, especially when you got an up and coming young running back like Ramondre Stevenson. He'll definitely help in getting Ramondre some breaks, be the third down back kind of guy, punching in on the goal line, while Ramondre will take the lead back prowess. It's a good fit for me. I like it, especially because I picked him up very quickly.
It is a wonderful fit. he's gonna. It's
Like,
the
do I-
way I'm thinking about it right now is switch the importance of DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams to the Lions team from last year, and that's their roles. Ramondre Stevenson is much more important and fits that receiving, like around the tackles, speed kind of running back, where Zeke is going to get the red zone power,
right.
2 to 3 yard touches. For the Lions, it ended up being the power guy was more important, and the other guy was taking a back seat.
Again.
I think it'll flip though. I think the Patriots will use Ramondre Stevenson a lot more. He'll get a lot of the same touches he got last year, but when it comes down to it, they need a couple yards. You throw in Zeke, he'll get you those, and it'll probably work pretty well for him.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it.
Like, do I think it makes the Patriots worlds better? No, but I think it makes them more consistent.
Agreed.
Nice. I love
So-
Lot.
Oh, Dustin, just wait, we're getting there. So
We
now
are
I
very
see it.
close to getting
I see
there.
it.
we'll wrap up our NFL. We'll switch over to the MLB. Season's coming close to an end. We got about a month and a half left till October.
Gotta love
when it
October
gets
baseball.
down to the nitty gritty. But first, we'll still talk about MLB, but we'll talk about one specific person, being Wander Franco. I'll let you take the
An
wheel.
eerie silence just fell over the Off the Dome podcast.
As it should.
Why? Because Wander Franco seems like a bad dude. Wander Franco, a team that the Rays, a player that the Rays desperately need, has turned out to be dating, hooking up, anything with a 14-year-old girl. MLB is addressing this. They are looking into it. He didn't travel with the Rays to their next series, so he may be disciplined for that, but who knows? MLB has a history of not disciplining guys that need to be disciplined. I mean, personally. The biggest thing that recently happened with something like this was Trevor Bauer, and I think they handled that well. He got kicked out of the league kind of permanently. Kind of not in like a literal way, but kind of like blacklisted. And I think that could happen to Wander Franco. But, I hope it happens, but he's a really good ball player. So if they let him back in, then
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't be shocked, even though he did something horrible. He said, Dustin, you say that's not discipline, that's jail time. Obviously. That's what I'm talking about when I say discipline. Like if it's proven right, he's going to jail. That's just kind of how it happens.
If you think about it like from a strictly baseball perspective, like it's like, oh man, Wander Franco. I mean, 22 years old,
It's a big hit.
top 3 shortstop in the American League, like having a fantastic season.
On a fantastic team.
A team that started off the year hotter than any team has ever started a year in MLB history. But then I saw him trending on Twitter. Like I saw he was in the trending spot and I was like, why is he trending? Did he hit another home run?
Right.
And then I read it and I was like, I hope I never see this guy's face again. Because
Right.
if it is proven true, he should never step on a baseball field ever again. He
Without a
literally
doubt.
should go straight to jail.
Yeah.
Like Dustin is completely correct. If you are 22 years old, an MLB player, put it into perspective, somebody who would have just graduated college is dating an 8th grader in middle school.
Right.
Like,
it's gross.
It's disgusting. It's
horrible.
illegal, and it's just downright morally incorrect.
I hate it for the girl. I hate it for the game of baseball.
Hate it for the Rays.
I hate it for the Rays. It's just an all-around horrible situation caused by a guy who turned out to be a scumbag, and then that's kind of harsh, but he deserves it. He deserves a harsh punishment here.
And of course, there always is the chance that it's just a rumor or something.
Right, yeah.
There was misinformation passed along. Like, don't want to sit here and act like he's.
But as of
This
right now,
country
we have
uses,
to take it for what it is.
Innocent until proven guilty. But when they're immediately taking this kind of action against him, and You have yet to hear a lawyer for him come out and say anything. You have yet to hear him come out and say anything. You have yet to hear the girl come out and say anything. You kind of have to assume that it's true.
Right.
Like I said, there always is the chance it wasn't true. Misinformation's passed. Something got messed up somewhere, but assuming this is true, it's
Like,
just
for his sake, for baseball's sake, for the Rays' sake, I hope it's not true. I hope it's just fake news. Like people make those fake articles all the time about a player being hurt or a player being traded. Hope it's one of those, but from the way it looks so far, it's not. And it's just terrible.
Yeah.
But like you said, innocent until proven guilty. I'm still gonna have a sick taste in my mouth for the time being, but I'll keep my head up.
yeah. Let's get the negativity out the room real quick. All right, Lot. I love when you talk baseball. You get really passionate.
Let's change the tone.
Let's talk about
The
Lot's
second segment of
Red Hots or Nots.
Okay, let's talk about the American League, okay? Let's head over to the East. Let's talk about the Orioles.
great division.
Great division.
Best division in baseball.
Orioles are incredible. They stay incredible. Still want them to go to the World Series. Personally, that's my want, not my prediction. Focus. Rays. Back on the last Lots, Red Hots or Nots, I predicted the Rays collapse. I don't know if you two remember that.
I do remember that.
But I did. I predicted the Rays collapse, and it happened. See what I'm saying?
Let's take a pause. So you just referenced the last segment of Lots, Red Hots, and Nots. I'm going to do it too because you said, for your sanity.
For my sanity.
You wanted to know that whatever the Orioles were doing was working. I think it's working.
It's working.
How's your sanity?
73 wins. I'm more sane than ever. I'm more sane than ever. Can't you tell?
I mean, yeah.
Orioles.
No hat. Really sane.
The Orioles have the best record in the Major League, American League, not the Major League. The Rays collapsed. Back to what I was saying. The Rays collapsed. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They've been hot as of kind of late, recently late. But since the last Lots, Red Hots or Nots, they've been bad, and they've slipped to second in the East under the Orioles. The Blue Jays, mediocre. I mean, there's nothing to say about the Blue Jays, honestly. Red Sox, mediocre. There's nothing to say about the Red Sox. Tristan Casas has been playing incredible ball.
I was going to say the one thing I want to talk about with my Red Sox is that we do have two of the best rookies in the American League. It's really good seeing that.
Really old.
He's 30 and he might win Rookie of the Year.
Masataka has been struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's still above 300 in batting average, which he's our only player above 300. Jaron Duran is getting real close. But if you look at it from a baseball perspective, having two rookies on a team that is kind of older, that helps for sure, in my opinion. It makes me look more towards the future when you sign Rafael Devers to an extension. You get Tristan Casas, who's one of the best players in the league since the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was a point, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, where he was first in every offensive category post-All-Star break. Home runs, batting average, you name it, he was number one in that a month and a half time frame. So I think it looks good for the future. We're already creeping up on the number that I thought we would hit for the season. I thought we were going to be below 500. We're sitting at, 8 games, 6 games above 500 right now.
You and I both said a certain number.
77.
You said 77?
I said 77. I believe you said 75.
That sounds right. So I think they'll get that.
And, yeah, I mean, I'm very happy. We're not going to make the playoffs. I think we're 3 games out of the wild card right now.
Hey. September baseball, anything can happen.
No, we absolutely could. I don't think we will, but even if we don't, we have to see this season as a success, just because of what we've done. I mean, Justin Turner came in and was a much better player than I expected. I hated the signing. Ended up working out. We lose Xander. He's not having a great year in San Diego. Tristan Casas, Masataka Yoshida looking great. Verdugo's a solid contributor. I think there's a couple things we need to figure out. If we can get that dang pitching rotation figured out, and then solidify the catcher. hopefully Kyle Teal, our 14th overall draft pick, can be up within the next 2.5 seasons. I think if we can get that, capitalize on Casas and Masataka being in arbitration for the next few years, I could see us making a run in a couple seasons.
I mean, as a Red Sox fan, you gotta be happy with the production, especially after what you thought was a devastating offseason.
Oh, I hated every second of it.
And then-
Lost Xander and JD. You could have killed everything inside of
And
me.
then you see this team with all these young guys stepping up and being guys. It's got to feel good until you get to next offseason where they trade all these young
All right,
guys.
all right. Let's move on.
showing up.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's talk about maybe a team in the AL East that's kind of upset. The New York Yankees start
Mid-stadium.
spreading the news. They suck. They're horrible, guys.
Clip it.
They're 2 games above 500, dead last in the East. They got Aaron Judge back and stayed the same. Aaron Judge won MVP last year. We're rolling guys out there. Anthony Volpe under the Mendoza line.
Oh.
We're rolling Jake Bowers out there to play ball for you guys. The Yankees are so bad. I think the last time I was on the pod, I mentioned the Anthony Rizzo debacle.
Oh, yeah.
All of that stuff. So Yankees, it's looking like a bad season. And I know Yankees fans are calling for an overhaul once again. The perennial Yankees fans, oh, we gotta fire Cashman. We gotta fire Boone. Steinbrenner doesn't care about the team, but they don't do anything every year, so it's a perpetuating cycle. And that's the Yankees. American League Central. Last time I said you don't need to look at the American League Central. I still stand on that point.
It's just like so mediocre.
Yeah.
Like it's not a good brand of baseball. Why? One thing I will talk about in the American League Central, I'm not going to highlight any of these teams, but the fight between Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson was an all-time baseball brawl.
Oh, yeah.
It was a knockout.
Jose knocked Tim Anderson out.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. One of the best players in the league, and Tim Anderson. I couldn't believe it.
He might be
Good old
great at
slobber
the
knocker.
he might be great at the plate, but boy does he have a paper chin.
Dude, no, honestly, dude, Jose Ramirez, he looked like Cassius Clay, and
Ramrod gave him a ramrod. Take that how you will.
I can't talk about the Central, dude. It's gonna make me sick. It's gonna make me sick. Let's talk about the AL West. The Rangers are incredible, huh?
Are they?
This is probably, if not the best, the second best team in the American League. The Rangers
Shout
have
out
the
Dave.
pitchers. They go trade for Jordan Montgomery and Max Scherzer at the deadline. 2 guys have been pitching super well for them. And then that's not to mention the guys that they already have. Their relievers, their starters that are playing so well that offense keeps going. Josh Jung, he's hurt right now. He's coming back at some point. The Rangers are super good, and I would not be shocked to see them head all the way in October. Astros, they're every year they're going to be creeping up towards the top of the division. They'll almost 100% make the playoffs in my mind, and that's always going to be a hard team to beat. But I don't know, man. I don't think it's their year. Not this year. Not after last year. Mariners are creeping up. They're red hot. They've been playing great baseball. They're 8-2 in their last 10, sitting at 63-54. They can make the playoffs. I think they're a few games out of the wild card right now, but I think they can make it. They're still in the running. The Angels.
Why are they not good?
The Angels have a sub 500 record. Shohei Ohtani. Last time I told you to drop everything and go watch Shohei Ohtani, right? Mm-hmm. If you didn't, you have missed out. Shohei Ohtani, pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels, is chasing the Triple Crown for hitting. He has over 40 home runs. He's batting over 300. And he has, I don't know what the RBI status looks like, but he's up there.
Let's find out.
He is chasing it. The highest in the American League is like 316. I think that's the highest batting average right now. Dude, he has a chance. If a guy who's also pitching wins the Triple Crown hitting, I mean, that's the best baseball season of all time. But the Angels can't win a game. For a second, for the first week of August, they didn't win a single game after bringing in Eduardo Escobar, after bringing in, I don't even remember, those other guys that they brought in. They became worse. I don't know how it happened, but they did. It's unbelievable. So, I mean, the Angels are baffling. Shohei Ohtani is most likely gone.
I hope so.
Trout won't be back for a few more weeks, and late August is the wrong time to get going. You got to get going in August and carry it into September, and then carry it into the postseason. Angels they have placed themselves in a position where they won't be able to make the wild card, and I'm standing on that, especially with the way the Mariners are playing, with the way the Blue Jays are playing, with the way those borderline teams are playing. They're not going to have a shot. The Angels, as the guys on Talking Baseball like to say, are dead. The Angels are dead.
Dead.
There's the A's. I don't want to talk about the A's. The A's make me sick because I love the franchise, but I do not love what they've done with it. They have a remarkable 33 wins on the season. They just got swept by my Nationals. I'll take the win, but it feels like bullying a little kid. Like, it's not even fun. I don't bully people. That's not my thing. I'm sorry.
So, yeah.
That's the American League, man. Watch out for the Rangers. Watch out for the Orioles. And that's it. Truth be told, that's it. Maybe the Astros. On to the National League. We can start with the East. The Braves remain the best team in baseball because that's what they are. They're not faking. They are the best team in baseball, followed by the Phillies, who are red hot. And then Bryce Harper's going. And then Bryson Stott is going. So the Phillies, they're not going to catch the Braves at all. They're 11 games back in the East. But the Phillies they're pretty good. They have a chance at this wild card. I don't know if they're in the wild card. I think they're close. What do they have? They have 65 wins. That puts them.
They're in the wild card.
That puts them in the wild card. So Phillies can make the playoffs. Try and repeat that run they had last year. Marlins, they go add Josh Bell and Jake Berger in a really interesting couple of trades. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. They haven't been great since those trades. I don't really understand it because they weren't playing well in the first place. In fourth place in the National League East, we have the New York Mets. Let's meet the Mets. 53-65.
Shout out Steve Cohen.
I'm just going to let us sit there with that for a second. 53-65, the highest payroll in the history of Major League Baseball, belongs to this Mets team. And they are 12 games under 500, 3-7 in their last 10. It's abysmal, and I'm loving it. I do not like the Mets. That's just kind of how it goes. My Nationals are red hot. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they are a half game back from the Mets. There's kind of a symbiotic relationship going on with the Mets and the Nationals right now. Have you guys heard about that?
No.
The Nationals, because they had a top pick in the lottery last season, they can't have another top 10 draft pick.
I did not know that's how MLB works.
They can't do it in back-to-back seasons. So,
Interesting.
for the Nats to have as high of a draft pick as they can, they need to finish above like 6 teams. They need to finish out of the bottom 6 teams. And the Mets, if they get into the lottery, then they'll get a higher draft pick. So it's a win-win situation when the Nats win and the Mets lose. The Mets need to lose as many games as they can. Are they tanking? Probably. Something about the organization to be said there. But the Nationals, they have a crazy farm going on, if we want to elaborate on my Nationals a little bit. Our guy from LSU, Dylan Cruz, has 3 at-bats in rookie ball. Goes 3 for 3, several extra base hits. After 1 game, he's promoted to low A. After 1 game. And now he has 5 home runs in low A. He's killing it over there. Up in double A, James Wood is playing out of his mind. The current state of the Nationals is not great. We have some stars. We have C.J. Abrams, who's turning it around. We have Josiah Gray, who's turning it around. But we're not there yet. 2025, we will be there. The 2025 Nationals are going to be competitors, and I firmly believe that.
They also got the who was it? Nationals.
Gavin Dugas?
Gavin Dugas, yeah.
Ugas, yeah.
He's there too. They picked him up. So 2 teammates playing professional ball together.
He was playing well. I mentioned that on draft night, and my dad kind of looked at me like I was crazy. Like that wasn't on purpose to get Dylan Cruz in the same lineup as Gavin Dugas again. I think it was 100% on purpose. Let's go to the NL Central, man. The Brewers stay hot. They're top of that division by a pretty wide margin now. But your Cubs are sneaking up, my
making
friend.
a splash. Cody Bellinger, best player in July.
Yeah, he played out of his mind. Everything was clicking for these Cubs.
Yep. Bring back Candelario, who's, he's done his job. He hasn't been too flashy, but he's gotten the job done. So I love bringing him back personally. I know a lot of people were questioning, like, what does this do for the lineup? Put him in. That's what I think it does.
Yeah.
It'll kind of solidify this team because we're, watching Cubs games all season. Every lineup was different. And it was the same players, just in different positions. So it got a little confusing. Now I think they're kind of getting to more of a solidified lineup, and I think it's working better.
Yeah, most definitely. The Cubs have been great. They've been red hot for a whole month, and that's really hard to do in baseball. And they had a series with these Reds where they put up like 60 runs or something stupid.
We just beat the Braves in a series.
Yeah, I mean when you're beating the Braves in series, you're hot because the Braves they have the best roster, and I don't think that's a question. The Reds, ooh, this hurts, man. The Cincinnati Reds were playing so well, and then in late July to early August, they collapsed. And the Cubs, they rose up to the occasion, and they beat the Reds, and the Brewers beat the Reds a bunch of times. So the Reds are sitting at 62-58, 3.5 back along with the Cubs from the Brewers. And the Reds are fighting for a wild card spot. I think they can get there. I think they can even win the division. But they need to turn it around quickly because their pitching staff has been really, really bad. They didn't make any moves for a starting pitcher at the deadline, which makes no sense whatsoever for a team with like 100 young pitchers. I mean, you could say that they're getting Hunter Green back in a week, but that's a week of games that you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Didn't they trade for Michael Lorenzen?
No, Michael Lorenzen is a Philly. He threw a
Philly.
He threw a
He did.
no
That's what it
hitter
was.
against
He used to be a Red,
my
right?
Nationals.
He used to be a Red? Michael
Yes,
Lorenzen?
he was a Red,
All
and
right.
then he was a Tiger, and then he
now
was
he's a Philly. All right,
a Philly.
cool.
He was there the same time Wade Miley was there, right?
Yeah, good one,
That's
dude.
a name.
Good
yeah.
pull.
Sonny Gray.
But yeah, I don't think it's outrageous to say the NL Central is the most watchable division, at least in the NL.
Yeah,
Because there's
it's
still a race to go.
it's like
the
the
top
only
13.
it's the only real race. The NL Central has the Pirates in it, who are stinking it up, and the Cardinals in it, who are stinking it up. They've both been horrible. Cardinals have been horrible all season, but the Pirates, they initially started really well,
good, really
and then they
good.
completely fell off. And in the West, there used to be a race. There's not anymore.
Yeah.
After the Diamondbacks collapsed, the Diamondbacks are 59-59 now, and they've looked really bad. Corbin Carroll has not been great, and that's their superstar. They need him.
Gallen either.
Yeah, right. The Giants have been good. Not so much in their last 10. They're 4-6, but they're 63-55. They've been better.
They've kind of just kept the same pace.
Right. But the Dodgers are atop the division, and they don't lose. They're 71-46.
Last time we checked in with this segment, the Dodgers were behind the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, they were in second, and now they're 8.5 up on the Giants. So I think the Dodgers are they're showing us who they are. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. They have JD Martinez. They have Mookie Betts. They have Freddie Freeman. If you're not paying attention to Freddie Freeman, take a look at his stats this year. He's probably going to finish second or third in MVP voting behind Acuna if he doesn't win it. I think Freddie Freeman has a legit shot at that. I think Acuna might win it solely because of the million stolen bases that he has. But I think Freddie Freeman has a legitimate shot because I think he has like 20 stolen bases, which is weird for Freddie Freeman, but that's kind of how it happens, especially when you shorten the bases. Like, you make the bases bigger, that's what happens. And then there's Reese's Padres. The Padres are so bad. Juan Soto's been playing great ball. There's not much.
That's about it.
Before the year started, I would have never guessed that Reese's team would be arguably the worst out of our four.
I
mean,
don't
the
know.
Nats.
The Nationals.
The Nats are 3 games behind them, but like, they're pretty close to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the season, I thought the Padres were going to be atop the division.
I legit thought the Padres were the only chance of beating the Dodgers in that division.
You can't underestimate the Juan Soto trade to the Padres. The Nationals got 3 prospects and 2 major league talent guys, young major league talent guys, for Juan Soto to have a 3-game spread in the records this season.
Right.
So the Nationals only got 3 games worse than the Padres after the Padres traded their whole farm to the Nationals for Juan Soto.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of a move, like a desperation attempt to try and shoot them into the World Series last season. And it's not working out.
Not
And
working.
it's so weird to me that the Padres are like so like not good, because it's one of those teams where you can legitimately name half their roster.
I mean, that's how I feel about the Cardinals.
Like, you can, for me at least, the Padres, I'm like, oh yeah, like, I can name a lot of guys on that team, and I'm not a huge baseball guy. I'm a very casual fan. I know the Red Sox, and I know a little bit about the Cubs, a little bit about the Nationals. But I know a lot about the Padres, and for them to have these many like star names on their team that are basically household names for even a casual MLB fan, and then be 6 game under 500 blows my mind.
Yep. Nats won the Juan Soto trade so far. And that's kind of how I'm living. And then the very last team we have is the Colorado Rockies. Is there anything to say about the Colorado Rockies except that they're bad? Brendan Doyle. Y'all want to talk about him? Exactly.
No.
Like Ezekiel
I don't know who that
Tovar.
is.
Y'all want to talk about him?
I don't know who that is either.
He's actually not bad, but I'm not going to talk about it.
I know one Rockies
they
player.
just traded away C.J. Crone, right?
Yeah, they did. They traded him to the Angels. That was one of the guys the Angels went and got, and the Angels got way worse. It's a weird thing.
Rockies did just beat the Padres in a series.
Well, what does that say about your Padres, Rebo? I think that says more about your Padres.
If the Nationals are beating the Braves and the Rockies are beating the Padres,
beating the Braves.
or Cubs are beating the Braves, excuse me.
All right, and that's the National League. Keep an eye out on this National League Central race between the Reds, Cubs, and Brewers. Should be a fun one down the stretch. Keep an eye on the Dodgers. They have insane talent on that team. They're going to be fun to watch. Keep an eye on the Padres for their collapse. That's going to be fun to watch.
So we're running low on time here.
I'm
About 15 minutes over.
I'm still sticking with my Rangers Braves World Series.
Rangers
So-
Braves feels good right
It-
now.
It does. I like it.
I'm
But
s-
we're
I'm
going to
still
go
sticking
different
with
route.
it. Okay.
Let's each pick a dark horse to win the World Series.
Okay.
Am I allowed to pick the Orioles?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then give me the Orioles. That's my team, baby. I've been talking about the Orioles forever. And
The Braves just feel like such a safe bet in the NL.
Well, that's not a dark horse.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I was trying to find somebody in the NL who I'm like, maybe they can beat the Braves. I don't see anybody. The AL feels more open than the NL, in my opinion. It's hard to say that the Astros are a dark horse. You already took the Orioles. I'm not taking the Rays. I'm not taking anyone out the Central. Geez, it's tough. Go back to the NL.
Take your Sox.
I'm not taking my Sox. I don't even think.
They could.
No, you know what? I'm gonna have them run it back. I think the Phillies are my dark horse.
Nice. That's
If
a
the
good one.
Phillies, if the Phillies can find a wild card matchup where they don't
they
have to
will.
face the Braves until the championship series, they'll at least make it there, in my opinion. I think a Braves Phillies NLCS would be a fantastic matchup.
Does anyone remember who said Reds Angels? Was that me? That was probably me.
It might have been.
Please clarify.
I don't
that,
think it
please.
definitely wasn't me because I hate the
I
Angels.
don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'll take Phillies as my dark horse.
Mm.
You know what?
Oh, that was him.
Oh,
Huh, that makes sense.
I'll do it. I'll be the guy. I'll be biased. I'll take my own team. I think that they're playing really well right now. I think if they can find their way, I personally think they can take over the division, win it. But if not, if the Brewers can hold on, keep winning some games like they have been, I do think they can find themselves into a wild card spot. And I think it'll be tough, but like I said, they're playing so well right now. They're so hot. I think that if they can continue that, they have a shot at this.
Let's
So
get a Cubs Red Sox World Series. How
That'd
about
be
it?
Nuts. That'd
How
be
about
nuts.
it?
House
love
divided
it.
that would be.
How literally house divided by a bathroom
by one bathroom, one shared bathroom.
and a laundry machine.
There's still 1 month, a month and a half left of baseball, so any of this could change.
Right.
Like, truthfully, the Giants could technically still catch up to the Dodgers. I don't think it'll happen, but they could if they wanted to, if they decided to play good baseball. So there's so much time, and my dad is one of the biggest guys because he's a Reds fan. He freaks out about these Reds whenever they're losing. They're on a crazy losing streak. I could see them easily making the playoffs and making a run. They just have to get hot again. Right. Their pitching has to settle in again. Their relief pitching has to settle in again. Their hitters have to go back to hitting the way they were. I think they can make a run with another month. And the good news is that they have it.
They do have
and
another
all
month.
these other teams that are borderline, they have another month to prove themselves. So it can be completely different come October, and I'm excited to see it. It's part of what makes baseball great. It's not over till it's over.
Right.
You said it best.
And with that, I think we'll wrap things up here.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to the No.
Obviously.
Huge shout out to
How do you spell that?
the correct way. KNEAUX.
Yeah.
The only way to spell it.
Huge shout out to you, Clown Car.
Shout out Clown Car.
To you, Redfish.
Thank you, Mustang. Appreciate you. If we were to summarize this off the dome episode for fans out there, I would say the Saints are winning the Super Bowl. Running backs love changing teams, and Lot loves baseball.
We all love baseball.
Lot and Mustang love baseball. I really like baseball.
But yeah, that'll be it for this episode. But stay focused, stay locked in. Off the Dome podcast may have some video game content coming out soon.
Hello.
Be on the lookout for that. Madden's coming out soon.
We talking Tetris? Pac-Man?
Sports
games.
Oh.
Yeah. Madden's coming out soon.
PGA Tour.
Could be.
Could, yeah. They got the FedEx Cup going on right now.
I did not know that. That's one thing about me. I like sports. I'm no golf guy.
But yeah, our crew at the Off the Dome podcast, always, except for last year, we like to do a little connected franchise where we redraft the league. It's fun. I'll try my best to keep everyone updated, to keep streaming it, to let everybody interact with us.
Madden.
Be peer pressured into picking up some free agents.
Yeah, I mean, we play the show a lot.
We do play.
We
the
could
show
always
a lot.
run a trios game on here.
October comes around.
We even have become some WWE fans. We love WWE 2K23. We've been WWE fans. We're finally admitting it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where it's such a niche thing where if you admit it, people either
right.
love you or hate you for it.
Personally, I don't really watch it anymore, but
I do. I'm not gonna lie anymore.
From like 2000 all the way to like 2015. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we have tons of games we play. We like to have fun over here in Sherwood Manor. So, I think we're gonna be putting out some cool stuff. And then of course we love to play like the grid games, and we can always do. That's what it's called, man. We can always do Sporkle quizzes. Fantasy football. We can do a mock draft episode. I mean, there's so much fun stuff we can do. More than just sitting around and talking. Even though we love this too, I think some interactive content would be really cool. So good ideas from our boy Steven Jackson over here.
So yeah, be sure to keep an eye out for that. Y'all got anything else?
It's a great day to have a great day.
That's right.
And with that, I would like to say thank you for watching this Off the Dome Sports Podcast. I am Redfish.
I'm Clown Car.
And I'm Mustang.
And we will see you next time.